Manager for ILAC Higher Education. And today I'm here to speak to you guys about our higher education programs, both on the West Coast of Canada as well as on the East Coast. And so today we'll begin. And so at ILAC, we have several partnerships. On the East Coast, we have a partnership with Georgian College, and our brand there is called Georgian and ILAC. On the West Coast, we have a partnership with Red Deer College, now Red Deer Polytech Institute, and we have a partnership through our Sterling College here in Vancouver. So first, let's talk about what ILAC public-private partnership is. The partnerships between ILAC and public colleges is established to give students benefits of attending a private school, but well as graduating with credentials from public institutions. With over 300 students currently studying in Toronto and Vancouver, we've had great success bringing these programs to market, and students have been taking advantage of these programs for over the last year and a half. Work part-time during your studies. So our schedules in these programs allow students to be able to hold part-time jobs of 20 hours per week to help support themselves while they attend these programs. And of course, some of these programs come with term breaks, which allow students to work 40 hours per week while they're away from school. And of course, graduates are eligible for postgraduate work permit when they leave these programs because of our partnerships with the public institutions. Now, for our first public-private partnership, it is RDC programs at Sterling College. So Red Deer College and Sterling College have partnered up to be able to offer programs here in Sterling College in downtown Vancouver. We've chosen to offer 3 programs. 2 of these programs are in the field of IT, diploma in software development, and we have diploma in network administration. These are both entry-level diplomas into the field of IT, and they allow the student to be able to enter the field, get hands-on training, get Canadian credentials, get eligibility for postgrad work permit, and then enter a high-demand, well-paid industry of IT here in Vancouver or anywhere else in Canada. These entry-level diplomas are 2 years in length, both. There are 4 semesters, which means 2 semesters per year, and our schedule is 3 semester years. So what that means is your students have a 1 semester break per year in this program. So that means they'll study perhaps during the winter, they'll be off during the summer, they'll be back in the fall. So this is a great opportunity, again, for these students to be able to work full-time during the summer break, giving them an opportunity to earn additional income as well as Canadian work experience, so that when they leave the program, they're looking for jobs, they already have Canadian work experience on their resume. So the software development program allows students to earn a diploma with technical skills in software development that meet industry needs. It is designed for students seeking a focus on 1 or more application domains, such as general application development, web development, game development, mobile applications, and others. It's a very well-rounded program that allows students to be able to get picked out by employers, because we're going to give them the skills that we know employers look for when they're making their hiring decisions. The diploma in network administration gives students the knowledge and the skills necessary for entry-level employment in the computer networking field. This IT qualification gives graduates the opportunity to enter an industry where their skills are in demand. As we become more and more reliant on the IT and on technology over the last 2 years, given what's going on in the world, our demand for IT workers has increased substantially. Not just IT, but of course, software development as well. So this program is very much similar in the way it's designed. It is also 2 years with 4 semesters, and both programs have 3 start dates per year that students can take advantage of: fall, winter, and summer. So the next start date coming up for these 2 programs is our summer intake in May, followed by our September intake in fall. Let's talk about the admission requirements for these 2 programs. They're fairly straightforward because they're entry-level diplomas. That means that your students will need to complete our college application, submit a passport, provide us an IELTS 6.0, If your student's done Duolingo or other examinations, we'll accept them. If your student has studied in an English language country in Africa, then we can accept that education in English as the English requirement. Next, they'll need to show us proof that they have graduated high school with a transcript. We're not looking at any specific grades, just their successful completion will be sufficient. And then finally, we'll get you to complete a Red Deer application as well. And then we have a full package. Again, as you can see, we only require an IELTS of 6.0, high school graduation to be able to qualify for this program. So great opportunity, a great window of opportunity available for students to get in to a program that's both in demand as well as has all the qualifications we know international students looking for diploma programs want. Now, once your package is complete and you've submitted it to us, we review those documents and respond to you within 24 to 48 hours with a letter of offer, a payment plan, and an invoice. This is an opportunity for the student to review the offer, understand the payment plan, and the cost of the education. If they accept our offer, you will remit their deposit payment of $1,400. This includes their tuition deposit and their application fee for a total of $1,400. Once we have received the deposit, we'll issue the letter of acceptance, which you can use to apply for the study permit application. Should your student's study permit application be denied, we will return the deposit amount and only retain the application fee. So that means your student will get a refund of $1,100 from their $1,400 deposit. If their permit is approved, that's amazing. They can start their education with us. The remainder of the balance of the education they pay per semester as they move through the program. Now at Sterling College for our third program, we have offered our postgraduate certificate in healthcare practice and management. This postgraduate certificate program is also 2 years in length, but this program is 3 semesters per year, which means students study year-round for a total of 2 years to graduate the program successfully. It also has 3 start dates, fall, winter, and summer. Our next 2 start dates coming up in 2020 are spring, which will be summer, May, and we'll also have fall, which will be September in 2022. And again, the entire education happens in Vancouver. Now, our postgraduate certificate healthcare practice and management program is a program that prepares internationally educated nurses to integrate their prior education, take on management or leadership roles in the dynamic Canadian healthcare environment. Both theoretical knowledge and practical skills will be evaluated. So essentially, this program is designed for international nurses who want to come to Canada, who want to become registered nurses in Canada. This program will help guide them through the registration process of becoming an RN in Canada. So what that means is your candidate has to be a nurse already in their home country and has been working for at least 1,125 hours. Now we'll go over the credentials they need to hold, but that's an important thing to understand.
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, now we can hear you. There was a blank moment there for a moment. No
Okay.
problem. You continue on.
Okay. So I'm just going to rewind a little bit. The postgraduate certificate in healthcare practice and management, again, you need to be an international nurse to qualify for this program. That means you've been graduated from school, you've received your RN license in your home country, and you've had at least about 6 months of work experience. Then you can qualify for this program. Then you can qualify to become a registered nurse in Canada. So essentially, when students get into this program, they're able to not only get Canadian credentials, they're also able to get assistance with completing the professional path of becoming a registered nurse in Canada, which is a difficult path in itself. It has lots of document submissions as well as various examinations to help become a registered nurse through the governing body. So our program will help students get through these difficult stages, and that's one of the huge benefits. Our goal is to make sure that the student graduates our program, but also completes the RN process at about the same time so that they can get their RN license in Canada and operate as registered nurses. So let's talk about the admission requirements. The admission process is the same as the last two programs I spoke about. Complete the online application with us. You submit the passport. For this program, the IELTS requirement is a 6.5. You'll need to have a bachelor in science for nursing specifically with a transcript. So it can't be any other field of healthcare. It must be nursing specifically. If the student comes from a country where it is not required to hold a bachelor's degree in nursing to become a registered nurse, then they can submit whatever is the qualification required in that country to become a registered nurse. They'll need their valid RN license, and they need to show us working experience as a nurse in the last 4 years for a minimum of 1,125 hours. If they meet these requirements, then again, we have a completed package. We'll review that package very quickly, provide you the letter of offer, your payment plan and invoice, and give you the opportunity to accept the offer and make your deposit payment of $1,400. Again, that $1,400 consists of an $1,100 tuition payment, $300 application fee. So if the permit is denied, we only retain $300 and we return the tuition portion of $1,100. If the permit's granted, your student can proceed with the program. They'll pay per semester as they move through the program. I want to show you guys this chart and give you an explanation of why we chose field of IT and nursing when we're choosing programs to offer in our partnership with Red Deer. If you look at the chart on the left-hand side, you can see that the two top sectors of job opportunities and job openings in Canada in 2020 were software development and network administration. So these two areas, software development and registered nurses. So these two areas of job opportunities in Canada were one of the biggest, if not the biggest, and had the biggest opportunity for students to complete programs and be able to go to work in the field that they studied. So we know that when we offer these two fields to students, we know that when they finish the program, there is a lot of job opportunities waiting for them. On the right-hand side in the chart, we can see data from Statistics Canada that shows that job vacancies for professional nurses has outdone all other job vacancies in the country. So that means that there are a lot of retiring healthcare workers, a lot of healthcare workers leaving the industry, and there's a huge demand for new nurses and for a lot of jobs to be filled, especially right now with a huge demand for healthcare. So these are the reasons why we've picked these fields. It gives a great opportunity for international nurses to study programs that are currently in demand. That means, you study the program for 2 years, but when you leave this program, there's actually job opportunities, very well paid, well-respected job opportunities available for these graduates so that they can be on the path for immigration if that's what they choose. Next, I want to move over to talking about Georgian and ILAC on the east coast of Canada in Toronto. Now, similar to what we did on the West Coast, on the East Coast, we've established a partnership with Georgian College. The advantage for the partnership is that not only do students get to attend a college in Toronto, but earn Georgian credentials, they're offered to take 4 in-demand programs that they're able to take at our satellite campus, brand new campus in Toronto. So students are able to take 1 diploma program and 3 postgraduate programs. So for our business diploma program, it is 2 years in length with 4 semesters. It is an undergraduate diploma and has a postgraduate work permit opportunity of up to 3 years. Next, we have our project management, which is a 1-year, 2-semester program. Again, it's a postgraduate certificate and has a postgraduate work permit of up to 1 year. Next, we have our global business management postgraduate certificate. This postgraduate certificate is 2 years in length with 4 semesters. That means 2 semesters per year. And again, there will be a semester block in this program. Students graduating from this program will graduate with a post-grad opportunity of up to 3 years. And of course, finally, we have our human resource management with co-op. This postgraduate certificate program is also 2 semesters, which is 1 year of education, but it also comes with 1 work semester, which means it's 14 weeks, 35 hours per week, in addition to the 2 semesters of education, for a total of 1 year plus 1 semester. This program offers a postgraduate work permit of up to 1 year as well. Now, we do have some new programs that are coming available for Georgian and ILAC in 2022 and 2023. We're pleased to announce that we're launching 3 new graduate certificate programs. So I'll share those with you guys today. Business management, which will be a 2-semester program. Marketing management will be a 2-semester program. And finally, we have supply chain management coming in closer to 2023, which will be global, and it'll be a 2-semester program. This will, of course, give our students a broader opportunity, broader program options to be able to take with us. So the admission requirements for these undergraduate programs are fairly simple. ILAC Pathway 3.2 or IELTS 6.0 is required. A high school diploma is required. Grade 12 English or equivalent, grade 12 math with a passing grade, or grade 11 with 60% or higher. Again, if your students are in an English-speaking country that meets the English requirement, we only need to see the math on the transcript. So fairly simple requirements to be able to get into the undergraduate program of business with Georgian at ILAC. Now, on the other side, the graduate programs, they need an ILAC Pathway 3.2 and an IELTS 6.5. But again, if you studied in your home country in the English language, you can submit that in your transcripts. Post-secondary diploma or degree or equivalent is required. Work experience is not required. So that's important. Other language proficiency tests are, of course, accepted. That's Duolingo, TOEFL, CAE, and TOEIC. And that goes for all of our programs. We'll accept those examinations as well. So again, fairly straightforward. We've taken out the work experience requirement for these graduate programs as well to make it a little bit easier to qualify. And the career outcomes for these business programs are in the field of marketing, sales management, project management, exports and imports, logistics, supply chain and finance, and human resources. Our undergraduate and graduate programs are a great opportunity, especially the graduate programs, for your candidates who have already received education in the home country, perhaps have had a bit of a career and are looking to expand their education, add supplementary education to their credentials, and then give themselves the upper hand when they're looking for employment in Canada. They're able to gain meaningful employment, perhaps in a managerial role, after completing these programs with their eligibility with PGWP, and put them on the path for success in Canada. Now let's talk about ILAC's university pathway programs. So as your students are able to participate in our higher education programs, of course, they're eligible to take university pathway programs with ILAC's ESL training. Now, some of you may be coming from English-speaking countries where most of your students will not require English training. But if your candidate's English level is not where it needs to be, they need training, then we can provide that full training to your student. And in fact, we sometimes have scholarship opportunities as well, where if your students are accepted into our higher education programs, they can get pathway training weeks for free. That means they can get ESL training classes to prepare them for college at no cost. So another benefit of participating in ILAC's higher education programs. So finally, why ILAC higher education? Well, of course, like I talked about, we offer university and college pathways. These are very important because they allow students to take advantage of public school programs, but attend them in major cities like Vancouver and Toronto in Canada, which we know are destinations, hot destinations for international students. It's where they want to be, it's where they want to come to study and live and work. Also, when you submit applications through our system to us for our schools, you get a very quick turnaround time with 3 to 5 business days. That's one of the huge advantages of working with us. Not only are your students able to get credentials from a public school, you don't have to go through a public school to get your students into the school. We're able to do the process very quickly for you, so you don't have to wait for months or weeks perhaps to get results. We can get you a turnaround of 3 to 5 business days on your applications. We also have an excellent nationality mix. We offer diversity promotions to encourage various nationalities to enroll in our programs, and we work hard to make sure that we have a good mix of students. Of course, all of our students attending ILAC programs have access to career services. So this means within the programs, our instructors are assisting them and prepping them for job search and how to better position themselves when it's time to look for employment. And of course, we train them with prepping their cover letters, resumes. But aside from that, we have career services department within ILAC that can help students find work, whether it's part-time work or full-time work after graduation. Of course, we're powered by ILAC's Academic and Service Excellence, which is very well known. Some of you may have been working with ILAC for years. Some of you may be new to us, so you'll learn that we hold a very high level of academic and service excellence. And like I said, location is very important because we know international students that want to come to Canada. They mostly, if not all, want to come to the West or East Coast. They want to come to major cities where they can find their community, where they can find job opportunities, both during school and after school. So that's why we have programs being offered in Toronto as well as Vancouver. And of course, we have standardized tuition, regulated commission schemes, and of course, a refund policy that's an advantage for students. As I mentioned, if your students are putting deposits for our program, if their permits are denied, we only retain the application fee. We return the deposit amount. So this is great for your students to know. They have the security to know that if they do not get their application for study permit approved when they're attending with our school, we're able to refund their deposit payment. We have orientation activities for students, and this helps students prepare them, especially international students, where they're coming to a new country, they're coming to a new type of education. So we're able to make sure that these students are properly oriented, that they leave, they start these programs with success and they leave our program successfully. Of course, we have immigration and housing support. So if your students need support with finding housing, with getting into the country and finding accommodation, we have team members ready to assist. So all you have to do is reach out to us. Of course, all of our programs offer private health care. So students attending our programs have health and dental insurance. And of course, we have accessibility support. So if you find that your students have any disabilities or need any additional assistance to help support them, we have support services available, and we can make sure that your students feel safe and comfortable when they're attending our school and our programs. Of course, we have on-site counseling free of charge, and mental health and well-being as well. So that's very important to us, and our students have full access to counselors, and that's something that's private for them, and they're able to reach out and get that assistance if they need it, because their mental health, their well-being is very important to us at ILAC. Finally, I want to talk about the student tuition assistance program that we have going on this year. First, let's talk about Georgian and ILAC. We have fantastic opportunities, tuition assistance happening this year for our 1-year as well as our 2-year programs. For our 1-year programs, we're giving away $5,000. For our 2-year programs, we're giving away a total of $10,000 in tuition assistance. So you can see about $2,500 of tuition assistance per semester for any of the programs at Georgian College. This is offered currently for our summer intake. Of course, your students can inquire about September, and if we grant this promotion for September, they'll be eligible as well. And as I mentioned earlier, if your students need English training, if they're signing up for any of these programs, they can get a scholarship for up to 12 weeks of pre-ILAC pathway program training. So that'll prep their English for coming into higher education. And of course, on the west coast at Sterling College and Red Deer, we are also offering a very similar scholarship. These programs are all 2-year programs, so students are eligible for up to $10,000 of tuition assistance to help reduce the overall cost of the education. And of course, students still have the eligibility for up to 12 weeks of free ESL training to help get their English up to a level where they feel comfortable attending programs at higher education. And finally, that brings us to the end of the presentation. Thank Canada, guys. Thank ILAC. I want to thank you guys all for listening for this presentation and going through these programs with me. At this point, we'll open it up for questions.
Thank you so very much for the presentation. And few people are in another presentation. They're going to be joining. So if you see some people coming in, please accept our apologies, but they are going to all get the recording. We can now also share with you that the program has been advertised in Middle East, Africa, and Mauritius. So we have some key partners here. The question they're asking, and this is a very good question, the partnership with ILAC and Georgian and Sterling is the question that what is the importance of this relationship and how does this benefit the agencies in terms of promoting it? If you can just touch on that, is a question that has been asked.
Sure. Well, here's the big benefit. Students are able to attend these programs that are offered at Georgian College, but they're able to attend them here in downtown Toronto. So Georgian College is about 2 hours outside of Toronto. So the main big advantage, and I think in my mind is very important, is that the students are able to go to Toronto, which is a large city, and study the program there. So they don't have to go to a small town outside of Toronto. So there's nothing really wrong with going to a small town, but it does have some disadvantages. One is, of course, the commute. Two is finding housing in a small area, as well as part-time work and employment. Now, on the other hand, when you're attending in downtown Toronto, you have an ample amount of housing within all the neighboring neighborhoods, as well as within the core of Toronto, as well as you have the opportunity to be able to find part-time work that's close to your school to help support yourself over your study period. But aside from that, you're able to take advantage of these programs, but again, take them at the ILAC facility in Toronto, which gives you the opportunity to gain a business diploma or perhaps a postgraduate certificate right here in the center of the city, which is very important. I mean, students, they come to Canada, they don't want to be isolated. It is very tough to be in a small community. So that's one of the biggest advantages of taking these programs with us. But of course, there's other benefits as well from attending a large campus compared to a more concentrated campus where you're around international students like you who are here to learn and explore, and you're able to network and make lifelong friends and connections that can become business partners and business network connections in the future.
But thank you. That's exactly the message that we give to the agents and students when we meet with them, is that instead of going to Red Deer, you can do the program right in Vancouver. Also, traveling makes it easier that you've got two main landing ports. So I wanted to add this for my agents to know that bringing the program to Toronto and bringing the program to Vancouver makes it easier for students because they have relatives. So sometimes the cost of living can also be diffused by students living with their relatives, etc., and they have more connections in bigger cities. But very correctly stated, and I want to restate that, but students do like smaller communities. That's a great advantage of coming to Canada to study, and we have lots of programs. But for these two programs, the question was asked, what was the benefit? Now you know it is a location that has been created. The second question that has been sent to me earlier is language. If a student is requiring a language proficiency greater than what is required for entry, does ILAC play a role in doing the language training, or is it done locally? Can you just expand on what is the ILAC's role in language training?
Yeah, so ILAC, we've been doing ESL classes for a long time. That's what we're known for globally. So what we do is complete the ESL training. And before I move to that question, I just wanted to add another point. When students attend our programs at any of these two locations, they're still attending and learning the curriculum from the main campus. In fact, for Georgian, it's the faculty is from the campus teaching them. So essentially it is everything that they would be learning on the main campus. They're just able to take advantage of it on the satellite campus. So just wanted to drop that point in there.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So the question from one of our agents is that we come across a lot of students who are mature and they have work experience of more than 5 years. Can we suggest these programs, and what has been the visa success rate?
Absolutely, you can, and we'll take into consideration the fact that they've been working, and they can show that to us on their resume as well when they're submitting their application, just to give us a clear picture. We've had good success rate with our visa approvals for these postgraduate programs. We see fewer and fewer visa denials, especially more and more when students are able to submit successful application through done correctly through the proper agencies, which is why we're excited to be partnering with the agencies being introduced here, because we know that you guys will do what it takes for the students' applications to be submitted correctly so that they can be approved. So in an essence, we've had great success rate with both programs on both coasts, with their permits being approved, because the programs are clear in their delivery. And if the students have a clear study plan that shows that these programs will benefit them, these programs have helped students be successful in getting their permits approved.
I have a few more questions, but I'd like to call in Mr. Mike Henniger for just a moment to bring greetings, and he has a couple of comments. Mr. Henniger, over to you.
Well, thanks for that presentation, Human. That was really, really clear, concise, and informative. I just thought I would add, I'm actually in Toronto this week, and just yesterday I was meeting with the ILAC Georgian team, the Georgian at ILAC team, and I'm just so impressed. I mean, Human was talking about the value propositions, but all of the supports through the application process, and every query and response will be quick. It will be to the point. The service level that we can expect from this partnership is at the very highest level. So I know for our agent partners, the biggest headache that we have is we send in emails or we send in application and no one responds to us for some weeks, and you have parents and families, in your offices asking for answers that you don't have. That will never be the case with these programs, with the Georgian and Red Deer PPP programs. The response times are so quick. The admissions is very quick and on point. So it's just a really positive and supportive partnership to work with. So really think this will be effective, and you guys can send your students here with the highest level of confidence. So I just wanted to add that. Thanks, Karuna.
Thank you, Mike. But thank you also for going to Toronto and meeting with all our clients and taking the time out to clarifying things with the ILAC. I think we have had a couple of visits there, and I'm so excited about this program. I have my colleague from Zimbabwe, and I want to turn my attention to specific country requirements as well. When you're coming from Zimbabwe, they're looking for making sure that the fee structure, etc., is completely paid. And Sue and I always get into this discussion. What is the base requirement for payment of fees? Can you please speak about both programs and how much is required for Sue to be able to make an application that visa officer and your company, Georgian and Sterling would be okay with that? Like full year fee, 1 semester fee, that's a question that comes up all the time. So I'd like some clarity on that, please.
Right. So as a school, our policy is that we require, for the West Coast, we require initial deposit, and then it's up to the student if they want to pay per semester, if they want to pay for their full year. Now, depending on what type of visa application they're submitting and what their strategy is, it's really up to the agency to decide. We don't have any special requirements on the West Coast. We just require the deposit payment. And then after that, the students will be required to pay their tuition as they go. But again, it's up to the agency to decide if you're in a country where you're eligible for SDS or if you just plan to pay the first year to show a large commitment to the application, we're okay with that. We can support you. We can send you the receipts. We can accept the full year's payment.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes, and on the East Coast, similarly, there's a deposit requirement. And once the deposit requirement's met, we can release the LOA. Now, again, if your student is wishing to pay for the first year, we can entertain that. So we can send you invoice for the first year's tuition. Your student can pay that in full, and we can provide the receipt. So we have some flexibility there depending on what the requirement is for that candidate and their agency.
Thank you. I'm going to request Grishma to put her contact details in the chat box for people to do follow up. Problem, and I want to share this from countries like Africa, very clear indicators from the institution is needed for them to process the study permits. So we are saying that if it's an SDS program, follow the SDS rules. And I think that's exactly what Human has said. You have to pay a semester fee. So what is the initial deposit? That's the question.
For RDC, it's 1,400.
Okay.
For Georgian, I believe it's 2,400.
Okay, and with that, we will get the letter of acceptance from both these institutions with which we can apply for study permit, and then follow the rules of SDS and non-SDS. One semester of fee, can I pay one semester of fee, is the question, instead of paying the deposit?
No, so you will always pay a deposit payment up front, and then you will pay one semester at a minimum.
Okay. If I'm missing one requirement, is it possible to upgrade with you, or is it a direct entry program only and we upgrade elsewhere? And this is probably math requirement.
So this usually is for English. If it's anything to do with the education requirement, then you wouldn't be doing it with us. You do it elsewhere and provide it to us. If it is in English, then yes, you would do that with us.
Please, in all the people who are joining in, can you please write in any questions that you have? It would be very important because you know that once this is over, then you send us a question. It's important to ask. We still have a very short period of time here to answer some of the questions and make sure that you have the needs met. Now, country-specific questions like will my degree be accepted, not accepted? The question is, will you take a 3-year RN and a 4-year RN? Is there a problem with that? Because in Africa, some countries have a 3-year RN program.
Yes, and we've come across that. And so, but what we've understood is, and I'll explain what our admission requirements and why they're set in that way for the nursing program. As I mentioned, our nursing program assists the student to move through the professional path of becoming a registered nurse. So that's a path set out by the governing body in each province. So our admission requirements for our program are in line with those requirements of the governing body. So that means if the student meets the requirements to our program, it's a very high chance that they will also meet the requirements for the RN process through the governing body. So that's why we require kind of a little bit of a tougher admission requirements to get into that nursing program, because we want you to be successful when it's time to register as a nurse. So now in some countries, you do not need to hold a bachelor to become a registered nurse, or perhaps they don't even teach you a bachelor to become a registered nurse. So for those specific countries where the educational system is set up that way, then yes, we can accept a 3-year program. We can even accept a 2-year program if that is what is required in that country. So if your country only requires you to do a 3-year program to become a registered nurse, then that's fine. That's the path you followed. You can provide the proof of that, and that will get you accepted into the program.
Okay, so this is a question. I'm going to try and read it. This is a 2-year course. However, my education is comparable to Canada's nursing, which I am undergoing NNAS, and I wonder if there will be some credits given to me to claim.
No.
No, the course is 2 years. The course will only be 2 years. There will be no credits given. This is a question that has come from an agent. You know that this is being sent to the agents who cannot join us. They're
Yes.
asking questions.
Yes.
So please answer that question.
Sure. So what I want to say there, that this is a non-accredited program. So this is not a accredited nursing program that you can attend, earn credits to then become a registered nurse. You need to already be a registered nurse. So attending this postgraduate certificate will not earn you any credits in nursing. So that's why you need to hold the credential already and then study this program as supplement, and then be able to then register yourself as a registered nurse in Canada. So your previous education is great. It's going to give you an advantage, but unfortunately you won't present any credits.
All right. So the question from in the chat box is different requirements. We also come across students from Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Nepal, etc. Can you help us with a little bit criteria and differences in them? That can be addressed with each application. I'm really concerned about Sri Lanka and Nepal because we have very strong connection in Nepal and in Sri Lanka. We're opening a center for this thing that we will be bringing some students. So the concern is, how can we, is there a connection within your website where we can check the requirements for each country? That is the best way to put the connection aspect.
Good question. No, there isn't. So really, we look at everything case by case and we'll give you feedback. We don't have any sort of chart to follow that says which degree is required from which country. However, what we do things differently here at both of our schools is that we're not charging the application fee up front. We're charging it after we've presented you the letter of offer. So that means that if you do have a candidate who you think their credentials might qualify or might not, you're welcome to submit that candidate and their credentials. We'll take a look at it for you free of charge and give you the feedback fairly quickly. So that way you can inform your client and then decide which direction you'd like to go.
So the method is that we take the documents, we send them to you, you say, yes, apply, then we pay the registration fee.
Correct.
Well, that's actually fantastic, guys. It's something that we can do. We have about 11 more minutes before we have to go to other meetings. Can we?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Can we please have any other questions put in the chat box? The questions I am getting, I'm reading them out from my, I apologize that I'm looking at the phone all the time, and I have to, because I have to read out the questions for you. Now, this is an agency question, which I will put it out for you. I'm an agent that works in multiple countries. Will you be not giving me credits for countries that, such as other countries? I'm not going to name all the countries. So am I able to give you applications if I'm sitting in Middle East from all over the world, or is it only from Middle East?
You're welcome to send us applications from anywhere in the world. We do have some restricted regions, but go ahead and send us applications. If there's any issues anywhere, then we'll get back to you right away and inform you of it. But don't hesitate. We have an open policy. You're welcome to send in your applications. Again, we'll give you feedback very quickly on them. And if the feedback is about proceeding or not, you'll get that instantly. But all in all, I would submit all applications.
And this is a very important question. This will take you a little bit to explain. We are interested in creating some partnerships within our regions. Is it possible to discuss that with you if we get some institution wanting to create a partnership with these two institutions where the students come directly to your programs? For example, if I have a business school in Dubai, can they send students to you for the postgraduate studies and we can create a partnership?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're working on that with several schools. We have these type of pathways here in Canada with local schools as well, for some of the other programs that I haven't spoke about today. So definitely that's something we're interested in. We're more than happy to discuss that with you. So if that opportunity exists, please reach out to myself or Corona, and we can look into that with you further.
Okay, question. This was mostly for my students, my agents in Africa and Middle East. If you have such opportunities, please speak to Grishma. Grishma will take it forward. Partnerships are very important because that creates a pathway for students to be able to take programs that are really job-oriented programs. I call them job-oriented. Would you agree with this, that these are really job getters? These programs are job getters in Canada, and there is a shortage of nurses in Canada. Can you touch upon that as well?
Yes,
Please.
absolutely. I mean, just not only our nursing program, all of the programs we've selected, we did our homework. We made sure that we're selecting programs that our graduates have job opportunities available for them. But if we want to talk about the nursing, that is a job sector that has been growing in Canada over the last 5 years, every year on year. And it's simply because we do have a aging population, an aging professional population. So a lot of our healthcare workers, they retired. And, when this pandemic hit, a lot of older folks who had been working in the industry for a long time took it as an early opportunity to leave the industry, leave the workforce. So having an aging population, having a hole in our workforces with people leaving the workforce, we need people to come in and work in Canada. We need skilled workers. That's why Canada has an open immigration policy. And if we're focusing on nursing all across Canada, there's nursing opportunities available. In BC, if you become a registered nurse, you're considered a skilled worker, and that opens up another line of immigration application for you as well. So all in all, the nursing and healthcare is a very large growing industry in Canada. And international nurses know that the Canadian healthcare system is an amazing healthcare system. It's one of the best in the world. And it's an amazing one, not only to be able to take advantage of, but to be able to work inside of. So these international nurses know they want Canada as a destination, and this is a program that's going to help them come here. It's going to help them validify their registered nursing license that they hold in their home country, get that in Canada, get the permission to work with their postgrad work permit, and then be on the path for immigration with a very successful, well-paid career. I don't like throwing salaries out, but nurses make a very good salary even starting out. So it's a fantastic industry to be able to get into in Canada.
I just want to add to that, Human, that if the nurses is not desiring to just stay in the GTA area or Vancouver area, and they're willing to go to northern communities, the salaries are starting at $45 an hour. And I know that because nurses from other programs are getting placed there, but there's such a shortage of nurses that sometimes students will take shorter programs, and this is a program that completely fits in, 2-year program at a very good cost, and you can do part-time work 20 hours a week and then go right directly into your profession and continue on. Thank you so much for this. The question, and this is the last one from my end, is there a specialization in the nursing? Like I'm a pediatric nurse. This is what the student has written to me. Will I be able to do some specialization within your program?
No, our program is very general, and it is basically going through all of the points you need to know to be able to successfully complete the professional path of registered nursing. So it's a rounded program. There's no room for specialization in it. However, all the areas are covered. So, when you're leaving the program, you have a full education, and then you can move towards a specific area. But again, this is not an accredited program. So that is very important to distinguish. But the program does give you the full rounded education and Canadian credentials behind your name, which is very important when you're looking for job opportunities. And of course, it gives you the opportunity and the assistance to get through the tough registered nursing path that's set out by the governing body. And as you just mentioned, Prina, that we are able to help you get registered in any province in Canada. So you're not limited to staying in one of the cities that we're teaching you in, or where you're meeting us. In fact, we can help you get registered in any province in Canada. And our teachers teaching this program, some of them were international nurses like yourselves. So they know the path that you're walking. They know what obstacles you're facing. they've done it, and they're here to support you to make sure that you're successful as well. I mean, they migrated as international nurses. One of our instructors, in fact, took our nursing program, went into the field, worked for several years, and now has come full circle to be teaching the program to other international nurses, helping them walk the same path. So a fantastic program, all in all, gives you opportunity to be able to become a registered nurse anywhere in Canada. And of course, we're here at ILAC to support you with every step of the way.
Yeah, I want to clarify this. When we talk about this is not a credit program, this is what we're saying is in the course term in terms of accreditation into becoming an RN. Absolutely, they're fully set up to do that. And please don't confuse yourself with course versus the accreditation for RN. Another very important thing that you will study in BC, but you can practice in Alberta, you can practice in Ontario, you will do their paperwork, and the college will assist you with what is needed there. That was a fantastic point to clarify. And also, please remember that it's not just a program for nurses. However, that is where the strength of the program is. And I have watched in the last 2 weeks at least 4 programs by Government of Canada speaking about the lack of nurses in different regions. So if you do have clients in your regions, especially I'm looking at places like Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, and Zimbabwe. I know that in Zimbabwe, students have been working for 4 or 5 years. There is that big thing with Sue is that the student is 28, 29 years of age. What happens? Those were her questions. Age is not a consideration because especially if you're already an RN and you're practicing, it is expected by the visa officer that that would be the case. So please don't be afraid of that. I want to take an opportunity to thank you, Hooman, because we have 3 minutes before we are going to be moving to the next presentation. I really have appreciated the clarity you've provided to a very small group of people because we are only dealing today with Africa, Middle East, and Mauritius. We will be in touch with you when the applications roll out. Is there any question that you want to ask? You can please put it in the chat box. I can quickly get that answered, but this has been an amazing presentation. Thank you to the Illume team, to Grishma for the work that they have done. And what a wonderful session. What a wonderful way to wake up. Thank you, Hooman.
Thank you guys so much for organizing this. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm always so excited to be here with you guys. Thank you, Grishma, of course, for organizing this. And anytime, any sort of events, I'm always here to support, always enjoy meeting with you guys and speaking with your agencies. And thank you everyone for attending and listening to these presentations. And of course, if you weren't able to get your question answered today, please feel free to reach out to us. We're always happy to help.
Thank you so much.
No
Hazel, take it over, please.
Thank you so much, Hooman, for such a wonderful presentation. And I do want to also share with you that this is a Facebook Live and the session will be up on our Facebook too. And so many of our agents who have sent regrets, we are hoping that they would be able to watch. So definitely this has been, and probably some have already joined us from Facebook. So once again, Hooman, greatly appreciate on behalf of all of us here. And I was personally very, very delighted to hear some of the things, which brings in a lot of clarity when we are dealing with students. Much appreciated. Have a wonderful day. And thank you to each one. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Take care now.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.